Whenever you're ready.
Oh my God.
Jessica! I've never been called a fox!
Dana.
That's a classy name for a Harry.
I like it classic.
Okay.
Do you?
Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast.
Sure.
Out with the bad and in with the good, motherfuckers.
That's right.
Jessica.
Dana.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. Welcome to the Rants and Raves podcast. I am Dana Powell.
I'm Jessica Young.
And
we are here
to rant and rave. Never
Great.
gonna get it. I don't think we're ever gonna get it. Never 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 gonna get it.
Until we're in person.
That's not how the song goes.
I know. Well, they say woo, 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 woo.
Woo, 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 woo. Oh, showing our age.
Where did I know where. In Coming to America too, they just had On Vogue. You know, it's 3 out of 4 members. Dawn left years ago.
They just had what?
On Vogue was
I'm sorry,
Coming
what is On Vogue?
In Vogue. Oh my God.
Everything you say is so fancy.
I just became my mother when we'd go through the drive-thru at Mighty Casey's, and she'd be like, we'll take 2 chili dogs, a hamburger, and 1 chicken cordon bleu. And my brother and I would lose our minds, just
Wait, how do you say this word? A-U-N-T.
Aunt.
Oh, okay.
I don't say aunt.
Auntie.
No.
Yeah, I don't say aunt. I'm sure a lot of people do.
Yeah.
I think that's an East Coast thing, though, right?
It is, and it's very proper. Or I think
no,
maybe
it's not. Who says?
Actually, my sister-in-law is British, and she says Auntie Jessica, which I think is really cute.
Yeah. Yeah, well, just because it's cute doesn't mean it's like better. I say aunt too. On Vogue. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it. Never gonna get it.
They sound amazing.
Do they? No.
Seriously.
I loved them.
So did I. There was something else that they performed at recently. Maybe it was a Grammys within the last few years, some award. I don't know. They sound phenomenal still, and they still look drop dead gorgeous.
Lucky. I'm still waiting to get to my drop dead gorgeous phase of life. Isn't that something we earn at some point?
Samesies.
But On Vogue.
On Vogue.
They were like the Beyonce before Beyonce, right? I mean,
you mean the Destiny's Child.
Okay, but I just meant like power women thing, like who run the world? Girls, girls, never gonna get it, never gonna get it, never gonna get it. Whoa, 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 whoa!
What about Salt and Pepper? That was 2 people.
Yeah, but you're comparing groups. I wanted to take 2 very different things, a group and a solo
No,
act.
4 women versus 1. I'm sorry.
All right, fine, that's fine. I'll accept Destiny's Child. It's fine. It's just not it's just not a very up-to-date reference. That's all. I'm just trying to make us hip.
Well, I'm going to really unhip you right now. Do you remember that sketch from SNL called Gemini's Twin?
No.
It was like a takeoff on Destiny's Child, but they were called Gemini's Twin.
No.
And they'd be like, I'm Chandelier. This is my friend Dijonnaise. And over there is our girl Britannica.
No, I don't think I saw that.
Amazing. I think it was Maya Rudolph and Anna Gasteyer.
Oh, funny.
Or is it Anna Gasteyer?
I can't remember.
Gasteyer. Now I'm going to
I've given you a complex.
No, it really is weird that I said, On Vogue. Like I said it without
as if that's how you always say it.
And I never said it like that.
Oh, really?
No, I always said in Vogue. Something's really happening to me during quarantine. I think it's letting me know I need to take up a language on Rosetta Stone or something.
I don't know, but you know what? I don't mind. I enjoy teasing you, but not from a mean place, Jessica. I love you, Jessica.
I love you, Donna.
Oh my God, that just made me giggle so hard. Jessica, how was your week?
Oh, it was really fun.
It was good.
Yeah, I told you a little bit. I sent you some pictures last night, but I didn't tell you. I saved it for today for the grand
Yeah.
finale of
Of your
what
story?
happened. Yeah.
Am I following a journey? I didn't
Oh
even
my
know.
Okay, so one of my best friends, her little girl turned 1
So cute.
this past week. So cute. And you were able to get to, I don't really know how it works. They rented like an hour of time at a rescue farm that's like at a private residence.
So awesome.
It was fantastic. I, again, highly recommend to anyone, please see in your area if you have any kind of rescue farms. Also, you
I
may
know
not.
for a fact out here we have the Gentle Barn.
Which they also have in Missouri. They opened one
I was
there.
going to say there's one in St. Louis now.
Yep.
Yes.
That was made famous because of, was it called the St. Louis 5? It was like 5 young cows that escaped slaughter.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Pretty cool. There's also, I've been wanting to see if you want to go with me to SoCal Mini Pigs and do a private. It's at a residence. It's a private farm. They sell mini pigs and you can go do a visit.
My God. Oh
anyway,
my God.
continue.
All of the animals there are rescued, and like I learned some really interesting things, like what they do with certain animals that I had no idea about. I'm not going to go into that. I think everybody is well aware, so I don't need to go into graphic detail. My point is, I did learn a lot of things I did not already know this weekend because I am that person that will ask 100 questions. We're standing there and everything's great. The animals are all totally calm, so docile, obviously are used to human affection. The place was immaculate. Like it was not, there's a lot of places you go and you're like, okay, this is gross, or the animals don't look great. And I'm not okay with that. Yeah. These all looked extremely healthy. The place was so clean. Well, all of a sudden I hear Alan, who would never like make an outburst. It's just not his way. And he doesn't curse like the sailor that I am.
Right.
But all of a sudden, and I had my back turned to him, I was like playing with the mini horse or whatever. And I hear, holy shit, why are you doing that? Why'd you do that?
What?
I turn around and one of the 2 dogs on the property, and they were a large breed. I don't know what. They were mutts. One of the dogs pissed on Alan's leg. And I mean, soaked his jeans, hiked his leg, and peed like a cartoon, like his leg was a fire hydrant.
No.
Yeah. He was not I mean, would you be?
No.
And the owner was like, I'm so sorry. That's never happened before. I'm like, well, it did happen.
Oh my God.
Also, you assume risks by going near animals. You could be bitten. They could pee.
Right,
I mean, you don't know how they're going to react. Anyways, it was all fine. I mean, bless his heart. She's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I can do. And he goes, can you get me like some alcohol wipes or something? And he just tried to wipe his, and I just said, look, when we get home, immediately take them off. We're going to put it in a plastic bag. And then we'll bring it immediately to do some laundry.
Yeah. Oh man. Why?
I was dying. I know. You know what? I think the birds that were there knew what happened and made up for it. Because, oh God, I really do love birds.
Yeah.
I know some people are freaked out by birds. I think that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I grew up with a parrot for many years. My mom got a double yellowhead Amazon is the type of parrot. They're yellow heads and they have a green body. His name was Chi-Chi. He only liked my mom.
Why Chi-Chi, if I may ask?
You know what? I don't know. It may have been the name he came with. I don't remember.
I only ask because I always heard from my mama, if we said Chi-Chi, like the Smurfs had an episode where they did this little chant, boom ma Chi-Chi, boom ma Chi. She goes, that is not good. Chi-Chi's is boobies. They're talking about boobies.
What?
I don't know if that's, my Spanglish history. I have no idea, but I have grown up. Isn't there a restaurant called Chi-Chi's?
Yes. And it's great.
To me,
it's been around for years.
I've never been there because to me, it is titties.
I cannot. I can't. Chi-Chi's is a chain not to be confused with another favorite from yesteryear that makes a club sandwich that'll knock your socks off is Coco's. C-O-C-O apostrophe.
Yeah, I know Coco's.
There's like one left. Every time I'm driving like south on the 5 coming back from Northern California, I'm like, "Go, goes." It's like the last one left on Earth, I think.
No,
And
there's
I've never
isn't there
stopped. I
one?
don't know why.
I feel like there was one in North Hollywood for the
What?
longest time on Lancashire, like up
Oh
further north
man. I'm
towards
gonna have to look
Oxnard.
into that.
Oh my God, we're two old ladies on a porch right now. Your mother's bird, your mother's bird, Chi.
Oh my god, yes. Okay, so really quick, the to wrap this up, the birds were amazing. She had macaws, she had an African gray. Yeah, I did kind of show off. She's like, "You sure know your birds?" I'm like, "I do."
Oh boy.
She had cockatoos, my very favorite. They're so affectionate. Those are the ones that are all white but have a pale blue ring around their eyes, and
Yes,
they
yes,
kiss you and they
yes.
mimic people. I mean, they're so intelligent. Well, she gave Alan a cockatiel, not to be confused with the
The
cockatoo,
two.
right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Cockatiel is like a larger parakeet, still a tiny
Yeah.
bird, but
Mm-hmm.
okay. So she put it on Alan's shoulder and she's like, wow, he really likes you and all that. The bird, she's like, start singing if you're happy and you know it. So Alan got out like 4 words and that bird whistled the whole song in his ear and was like kissing him on the cheek.
Oh my
It was
gosh.
real cute, but
That
it was
is
fantastic.
cute.
This lady works in nursing homes. She brings, I don't know what she can bring into the nursing home, what the restrictions are, but she brings animals for therapy.
Therapy, yeah.
I did learn something very fascinating.
Okay.
Anybody who owns a turtle, perk up here. I
Ah,
know
well,
turtles
I've
are not,
tried for years.
I love them. Turtles are not tortoises,
Right.
but she has a tortoise. She acquired him when he was already 21 years old. Yes, they will live to about 100 years.
Yeah.
She got him for 21 years and it had been living in a house. It wasn't being abused or hurt or anything, but they had it in like a kiddie pool. Not
Oh,
okay. And it was
no.
indoors for 21 years. It never had sunlight. So that
Oh,
he still has a full shell. So don't anybody get upset. I'm not going to say anything creepy, but some of the hexagons in the shelf
yes. Yeah.
in the shell were kind of
Depressed?
concave a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And
Wow.
she explained that. She said, that's from a lack of vitamin D. And I
Oh,
said, well, he's
no.
clearly living his best life. I
Yeah,
mean,
good.
the thing was amazing to watch and looks totally healthy. I mean, it's amazing. This
Aw.
woman was really, really amazing and so good and gentle with her animals and knew so much about them. And she's like, I was raised with animals and now it's just like keep it's like people who get into rescue sometimes like they can't stop.
Yeah.
I mean sometimes
Yeah.
they don't have enough room, but or they become people who try to help place them
Other
elsewhere
other
or they're going to have a
places.
different
Yeah,
life. So
totally.
it was lovely.
I follow so many of those types of people on because it's like my dream if I had the space and money. But they
Absolutely.
like boo chases on Instagram and all
Mhm.
of that. But the thing is, they're constantly having to raise money to help these animals.
Of course.
It's just
It's
so much.
expensive to
It's
own
so
animals, even
so
just one pet.
expensive. Yeah, so expensive.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's incredible. I'm really jealous. I would love to do
I
that.
know. We'll have to
Yeah.
go there. I gotta see, like, how much it is and how they worked it out.
Yes.
How
My
was your week?
my week was okay, I guess. Nothing too horrible, nothing. I mean, I was up for a job I didn't get. Yay.
Always such a bummer.
I know. What else? I think that's kind of it. We took it pretty easy this weekend. Like,
Good.
I did go to an outdoor market, which I hadn't done
Nice.
obviously in forever. And
Yeah.
it was, a little bit jarring at first to be around. I wouldn't say it was overpacked. I was never touching anybody.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
people were being very careful about social distancing, and everybody had on masks, and it was
Sure.
outdoors. But it was the odd market in Los Feliz, which I assumed that you would know exactly what that was. And you said you haven't been,
I had
right?
never heard of it.
So
No.
it's like a mini Rose Bowl flea
Mhm.
market, if you're familiar with that. I know a lot of you don't live here, but I think the Rose Bowl flea market's pretty well known
It's
outside of
yes,
LA. It's
it
huge.
is.
So this is at a school in Los Feliz
Mhm.
so it's smaller, but it's way bigger than you think it's going to be.
Mhm.
And some of it's vintage stuff, like they have vintage t-shirts like you wouldn't believe. I mean,
Yeah,
so
it's
many
so
clothes.
fun.
Yeah, and so like one Nirvana t-shirt was $185.
You know
But
what? No.
I know. But then they
Absolutely not.
had
Even if I had
racks
the
and racks.
money, no.
No, I
I don't
know.
care how much I liked it.
Same for me, I think. But then they did have like rack after rack of $10 t-shirts too, so
Oh.
there was everything. So there was tons of handmade soap, handmade. I got a candle from LA Discovery, which is a
Mm.
female black-owned business, and
Mhm.
it smells so good.
Yum.
And they were not expensive. I got like a good size candle. Soy candle. I don't know how long that'll
No, that
burn.
was a good size. That was I don't know what
Yeah.
the ounces
Yeah, but I got
yes.
that for $9, I think.
Yeah, that's
And
real
it
cheap.
smells heavenly.
That's
And I
very cheap.
love that I met the girl that made it. I don't know. It just,
Yeah. No, I like that stuff. I love it,
yeah.
actually.
It's fun. And you talk, the booth people are eager to talk and tell you about their
Yes.
stuff. And it's just fun. And also because we live in LA, I've been a prisoner in my home. All of us have for so long. This was
Mhm.
the first time in so long I was like, holy cow, look at all these cool people. I am such a nerd. Like
Like
I
you've
had on
never been out before. I know. I
I know.
know.
I had on like workout pants and a fantastic cavern sweatshirt, which is a cave in my hometown that you ride through
Ah.
in a Jeep, right?
Oh, I wanna go to that so I can sing the Floyd Collins soundtrack, which you love so much.
Oh my god, that would be
I
hilarious.
didn't know
I
about
would
Fantastic Cavern. Go on.
Yeah, they used to like in the 20s, I
Mhm.
think, they used to meet for what do you call them? Tiki 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 parties, flapper girls
What?
and
In the
alcohol.
cave?
Yes,
So cool.
prohibition, secret prohibition, so they could drinky drinks, and they
Oh,
tell you
that's
the history and stuff. So,
amazing.
if I could rent out that one room space where that
Yes.
happened for you to put on Floyd Collins, it would be worth it to me. So, we'll work on that. I think our friends would fly to Missouri to watch you do that in the
Oh my
cave.
god.
So, anyway, yeah, super hip, cool,
That's
gorgeous
awesome.
people, and I was like, "Oh, I'm not pretty." But
But,
but it was a blast, it was a blast, and I had some food truck food that just blew my mind.
yum.
Yeah, and then over the weekend, the boys and I just kinda chilled. We just chilled
Nice.
out. Dan
Excellent.
Tipton did a couple things around the house for me, which is nice.
Nice.
I did a lot of planty care yesterday. I was listening to, one of my favorite podcasts, Choiceology, and they were talking about dealing with grief, which was good for me to listen to because,
Mhm,
I've got a anniversary coming up of a loss. Anyway, they were interviewing this one guy about he had lost his mom. He had adopted a dog right before he lost his mom, and
mhm,
it was like her only grandbaby.
hmm,
He isn't married and doesn't have a
mhm,
family, and he was talking about he unfortunately lost the dog after 3 years, I think, like,
mhm,
it just was so sad, such a sad story, but his point was that this animal gave him something to care for and
mhm,
structure and purpose, and I was like, "Holy cow, that is what I need to say about my plants. They've
mhm,
given me structure and purpose." So,
mhm,
like, I know when I need to check each one for water. I have a little moisture meter. I check. I walk around,
mhm,
I wipe every Sunday. Everybody gets their leaves wiped down so that they can get
mhm.
plenty of chlorophyll, but it gives me
Nice.
structure. And like, remember you mentioned last week, you couldn't believe you walked up to my house and the blinds were all open. And
Mhm,
well, that's my thing now. I get up in the morning when I get Henry ready for school.
mhm.
I open all the blinds in the house so that I'm not living in a cave. That's easier to go back to sleep.
Yes.
But it's like structure, and it just reminded me of that post you made, like, who
Mhm.
saved who. These plants really have saved me through the
That's
pandemic. They've
great.
given me purpose and structure through grief. It's been lovely. I'm enjoying it very much.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's a very good hobby to have.
I
'Cause
like
all it's
it.
doing is giving you more oxygen as well as joy.
Yeah, they say it's not as much as we would like to think it is, but I don't care.
The jury's out on that, and I'm the
Ah,
judge.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, scientist, scientist Jessica.
Oh, boy.
All right, should we get into it?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. Are you up first? You're up
I
first, right?
am.
Yeah.
Okay. This is another rant from a listener, and by listener, I mean me. It's really becoming a pattern here.
That's all right.
This is involving people who are behaving like they are alone or in private while on a Zoom for work or in an online class.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are you doing eating a full on meal? Are you kidding me that you're smoking right now?
What?
Stop looking at your phone. Uh huh.
Oh,
We can all see you. And then I channeled Dana and wrote, rude.
yes, rude.
Everyone can see you. You guys?
You saw somebody smoking on a Zoom?
So the smoking part I never saw back when I had worked Zooms last year, which were like once a week. We had like a check-in with everybody.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I've been taking some classes over the last few months, like creative classes, writing
Right,
class,
right.
a voiceover class, whatever. And in these classes, all of a sudden, I'm just like, oh, like I'll see this huge puff of smoke, and I'm like, what's happening?
Oh, are they
And then the
vaping
person's full
probably?
on they're vaping, or sometimes they've carried their computer or phone outside and now are taking us on their cigarette break outdoors.
What?
I'm sorry. You're talking to like somebody who was a very heavy smoker. I get it. I used to sometimes be like, I can't wait till this and this being anything be over so I can go have a smoke. Guess what? If I can make it through 6-hour flights to Canada without smoking, you can do it for a 2-hour class.
Yes, please.
It's a class. Also, it's work. How dare you? How rude.
Yeah.
Like, I just found it so honestly appalling. I was shocked. It's like there has to be some level of decorum.
Yeah.
It's like we're all lucky enough that if you're on a Zoom, you could just be sitting in your underwear if you so choose, and you're
Well,
sitting down, nobody's gonna see you. But
right.
I can see you smoking.
Yes, and also when you're taking classes or things like that, like you're making an impression on other people in the class who are gonna
Yes.
our business is so much about networking
Of
and
of
like
course.
that's mind blowing to
How
me.
many times has something happened even years? I've had people years after I've worked with them in any capacity in a class, we took a workshop together, we performed at the same theater once, anything, and they're like, "Hey, remember me? Blah, blah, blah. I'm doing this thing, and I thought you'd be perfect for." And you're like, "What?"
Correct. All the time. Yeah.
You never know in any
Mm-mm.
industry that's why I always say it's like, man, there have been times where I don't just want to burn the bridge, I want to set off a bomb, but I don't. I'm just like, and this is not being cowardly or not saying it for myself, but I'm like, I'm gonna say goodbye and I'm gonna walk away and I'm gonna leave it back there because I can't and don't want to go there. And everything comes back around. And yes, you're making impressions.
Oh my
And you
God.
better believe I will remember the people who do that stuff. Not like keeping tabs, but it's very
As soon as you
jarring.
see them again, you'll be like, "Oh, that's the person that did
Yep.
this," or whatever. I know.
And they do it
That's
every time.
that is so strange to me.
Excuse me, one of the guy okay, we're in a voiceover class. Also, it's like there's etiquette now. We're not talking about like a group chat on Zoom where everybody has their mic on. When you're
Uh-huh.
taking a class or you're
This
in work, mute yourself unless you're speaking. Unless you're called on or unless you raise your hand, you can then unmute yourself. So one dude clearly lives in a freaking frat house. I'm joking, but I'm like, I don't know what the hell your roommate or whoever the hell you live with is doing. He would never have himself on mute and it would
you
be
have
so
to.
loud.
Yeah, you have to. You have to because for this reason too, I was gonna say to you, like, that seems unacceptable to me. I
Mhm.
try to give people a little grace when like, in an audition situation. Obviously, Jessica and I are both actors, and pretty much the only type of auditioning going on right now is either self-tape or live
Totally.
through a specific, different software programs
Mhm.
on the computer. And so, especially commercially, you're
Mhm.
doing Blue Jeans or something, and you're in a waiting room, a green room before you get kicked into your
Yes.
audition room. Well, I try to give some people some grace, but I'm like, come on, we're a year into this. You don't
Yes.
know that you have to mute your microphone because, and I don't want to be mean, but I have seen people, they use their camera as a mirror. And I get it. There's a little bit of fluffing and stuff and making sure your collar's not up that has to go on. But like you people can see you from the second you get in there if you don't turn your camera off. And they can also
Uh-huh.
hear everything in your house,
Uh-huh.
everything you're saying, whether you're whispering your lines or not, ma'am.
Okay. Coughing, clearing your
Coughing.
throat.
And then the adjusting of the camera. I thought I was going to yank what little eyebrows I had out of my head because this woman could not stop touching her camera and it was going
Uh-uh.
the entire time. And
No.
then she started going with AT&T rehearsing her performance. And I wanted to be like, hey, do you know that we're all watching you? So, like, it's a little odd and probably awkward for you if you don't know it. Also, if you had anything amazing that somebody wanted to steal before you got into that room, they could.
Oh my God.
And she kept walking up to the camera and smiling her different. There were 3 different smiles. She was trying to choose a smile and fix her hair. And I just was like, we have to give Grace a little bit. Like, clearly, this person is not super familiar with Zoom, but there are some people who are familiar with it and
Mhm.
they're just jerks. Like, that young guy knew that he lived with 12 other boys and that they were doing some kind of, I don't know
But
what.
I
boys
also
do
had to
together.
hold myself back because I'm always like, okay, calm down, or let's try to de-escalate. I'm talking about within my own brain,
Sure.
but I get angrier and angrier, and I'm like,
Especially if
I'm
you're paying
sorry, am
for
I
a
going
class.
crazy? I can't be the only one hearing this. I know for a fact I'm not.
There's
And
usually a bossy boots that'll say, "Can we have everybody mute
well,
their
nobody
mics?"
did. And I was also
You should
waiting
have
for somebody. I wanted to write in the
in
chat,
the
hey,
chat. Can we
whoever
all
is
mute?
doing that,
Can we mute?
please turn your thing off.
Yeah,
But
you
it
should have.
happened every week and no one said anything, including the teacher. And I'm
That's
just
shocking to me.
besides myself over it. Also, I don't need to see you eat a plate of dinner.
No.
It's like class is ending at 7 p.m. If you can't wait 10 more minutes, like that's another thing that kills me. It's like we've got 10 minutes to go, and now we've got to watch your husband handing you a full plate of salmon
No.
and asparagus.
No.
No,
I don't mind if you snack or have a drink as long as you're muted, right? I don't care about that. There's no reason for you to bring a full plate of dinner into a class.
not during class or a work meeting. Again, I'm not talking about casual Zooms, meaning with your friends and family. Do whatever the hell you want. When you're in a professional setting, have some freaking decorum. My
Yeah.
God, have some decorum.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyways, I'm just annoyed by it because, like you said, we're a year in and I'm trying to be like, let it go, let it go. That's not important, not important. And then I'm like, but now I'm getting really annoyed.
Yeah. Well, my situation was just me being a jerk. I hadn't paid for a class or anything. I felt like I wanted to tell her like,
Well, I'd be
wait.
distracted if it was happening in a waiting room for an audition. I'd be real pissed because it would be sending me over the edge and throwing me off. I'm not one of those who can tune it out and just do what I'm doing. I'm like,
I
I
also
can't think.
Also, to be honest, I don't care if somebody keeps their camera on. Sometimes I'll keep mine on and walk out of frame or whatever,
Mm,
just because you don't know. Oftentimes, when you get kicked in, then you're scrambling to turn your mic on, turn your camera on,
that's
So I don't mind that so much. But the noise is tough because it's that touching the camera noise. It's not
I know.
even. I
It's
don't know.
infuriating.
Yeah, that is crazy to me. I can't
It
believe that
is
happened.
crazy. You know?
Smoking during a class.
I
I mean,
can't
I know we're all at home right now, but come on.
rant over or I'll get really riled up.
Okay, so I'm up next. I have a listener rant. I don't think it's Jessica. This is from a listener. Hi, ladies. Love the show and love you both. As someone who also lives in a huge city, I can relate to so many rants, as I know you will relate to mine. I am so tired of struggling to find a parking space, in large part due to people not parking correctly and leaving a huge gap in front and behind them that equates to an entire full space, but is impossible for even a smart car to fit in on either side of you. Like, there are way more houses and apartment units than there are parking spaces, so every single inch is a hot commodity. Why can't people realize this? I always get out in a tight area and check that I'm parked as well as possible, leaving room for others. Last night, when I came home with a car full of groceries, I was ready to blow a gasket because there could have been 4 additional spots just on my side of the street alone had people moved up a bit. How hard is that? All caps. Thank you for listening. Rant over. I understand the
Yes.
fury of that. Yeah, I think it is because we live in a large city.
Yes.
Now, on my personal street where I live alone, it's not usually a problem for us. We
Right.
have a driveway anyway, but
By
anyone
the
that
way, just an aside, you said where you live alone as though you have a new home that you've moved into without your pets, your
I
husband,
said
or
where
your
I live
child.
alone,
You did.
where I
You
live
said in
alone.
my house where I live alone.
I did?
Yes.
I don't think I
I
did.
swear. Go on.
In my where we are, we have a driveway, but everybody knows how aggravating tandem parking is. Oh God, tandem parking drives me crazy.
No,
I'm
it
always like,
sucks.
can you move your car? And my husband doesn't understand why I don't want to ride in his car. It smells different than mine. Okay. Not bad, but not for me. Okay.
Not bad, but not for me. That's brilliant.
And I have emergency packets of everything in my car.
Yes.
Makeup, mascara, eyebrows I can paint on.
Baby wipes, a bag of
Baby
nuts.
wipes, tons of sanitizer, absolute bag of nuts. I got a jar of nuts in there. Extra masks because I'm an
Yes.
actor. Can't help it. Clothes. Yes,
Mhm.
still over the year of the pandemic, I still have some clothes in my car. I'm sorry.
Totally.
Oh, beach everything in case I just randomly decide to go to the beach one day. Okay. Paintbrush to get the
That's
sand off our
brilliant.
feet. Sheet to put on the beach so that no sand sticks to it. I mean, I'm ready to go
I
at a
like
moment's
it. I
notice.
like it.
Anyway, I need those things, or
Yes.
I very well might. You definitely don't have lip gloss in your car. You definitely don't have that tire pressure checker that fell apart and I use as a drumstick when I'm singing.
Oh
Okay?
my God.
I need my car. So I don't like tandem parking, but where we live, the street parking is
Plentiful. Same
pretty
with me. Like,
available.
we're
Yes.
luckily in a residential area where
But when
there
I
aren't
go visit,
businesses.
correct. But when I go visit a friend somewhere that it's all apartment buildings,
Oh.
and especially when there's a friend you visit frequently and you know
Mhm.
that a person that takes one of the spots also has a driveway, and then you're really furious. Like, I've gone to friends' houses where I've had to park 3 blocks away and it takes me 20 minutes to walk to their house. And for exactly that
Yes.
reason that the listener said, because they don't pay attention to how they could park, and there
Yep.
will be 4 spaces lost because they want extra space. It is so
100%.
rude. You know that everybody's fighting for
Yes.
spaces. You know they are.
Like, literally, there's maybe enough spaces on a lot of the streets here in LA, maybe enough spaces to park 40 cars, but there's literally 20 apartment buildings
Or
that have at
more. Yeah.
least 10 to 50 units in them.
Yes. Yeah.
And they don't have a parking garage. It's
Mm-mm.
crazy.
It's
In my
insanity.
building, everyone except me and the other unit in the front have parking garage under the building, like a slip, if you will. I know it's not a boat,
Yes.
but like where you put 2 cars.
Yeah.
And I have a few neighbors that insist on parking both of their cars on the street.
It's just rude.
And it makes me insane. I'm like, there's too many people. We don't have enough parking on our street now for the amount of people in each of the apartments having 2 to 3 cars.
Yes. It's so, and also, I don't have the balls to do that because I am terrified if I do that, somebody's going to key my car because people get mad.
Oh,
But
yeah.
the people that do it all the time, they have no fear of that, and therefore it doesn't happen to them, I guess. I don't know. I don't know, but it is absolutely infuriating. I have
beyond.
definitely gotten out of my car before and asked people to move up
Yeah.
if they're in their car. I mean, I have no
Yes.
qualms about that. Can you move up just a little bit? I want to try and get in
Totally.
here. You know, like,
Yeah.
you dodo.
It
It's
happened
so
to me
rude.
actually yesterday, as it happens. Now that I think of it, it was yesterday. I was driving around and around and around. I was like in the city, right?
Mhm.
And I'm driving around and around. It's a residential area near a school. There was no parking. It was
Yeah,
exactly what you're describing, with huge spaces in front or behind, not enough for a car, but way too much
right.
breathing room, if you will. And then I finally found one spot multiple blocks away, up the street, whatever.
Mhm.
And I didn't mean to be mean. If there was other parking, I would have passed it by. It was people working on a car, and they had the hood up, but they had like the front fender and all this shit in the parking spot. Now, to their credit, I tipped my hat to these gentlemen. I stopped and I just gave a look, and they immediately picked up their stuff and let me get into that spot.
Oh, that's
And I said, "Thank
nice.
you so much." And they were like,
I'm
"Oh, no
shocked.
problem." So am I,
That's really, really nice.
especially here. I hate to say
I
that,
know,
but
I know. Oh, it's
ugh.
and schools, don't even get me started. I used to really enjoy taking my son to school and picking
Mhm.
him up every day. I really did until he decided he wanted to ride the school bus because he felt like a big boy. I really enjoyed it. Uh,
So cute.
but the only thing about doing drop off at school, if you're not doing, I liked to walk him up to the
Mhm,
gate and give him a kiss goodbye.
mhm,
And then the way his school was set up, a lot of schools are like this out here. When you're
mhm.
walking back to your car, as they're going to class or waiting for class, you can wave at them, right?
Right.
And all the parents do it. It's most schools like that are like that
Mhm.
out here. You can wave as you walk back. Well, we would have to get to school 20 minutes early because I
Right.
knew we were going to have to walk 10 miles to get up there.
That's
Now,
crazy.
they do have a drop off where you just drive up and then somebody helps the kids out and you
Mhm.
get, but I don't like to do that. It just doesn't feel as personal to me.
Yeah.
I don't like handing my kid off to some, even though it's no different than taking him to
Mhm.
class, but he also enjoyed walking himself to his station where he's supposed to go.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So I tried to find a balance of like, no, I need to keep a hold of my baby and letting him have his own. But yeah, we would walk. And I got into it with a parent in his class one time
Mhm.
because she was sitting in a parking spot right in front of the drop off area,
Yep.
right where we would park to walk our kids,
Mhm.
um, on her phone, like tick, 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 tick,
Yeah,
tick,
no, no,
tick.
no, it's so obnoxious.
I pulled up real slow beside her and I sat there for a while and she refused to look at me. And I
Mhm.
finally honked and she slow glared, turned her head at me. And I go, "Are you going to go?" through my window. And she just stared at me and said nothing. And I held up my hands and went tick, 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 like texting. And I go, "I need to drop my kid off. Do you know that that woman did not move and I haven't spoken to her or given her a nice look in 3 years? Our kids have
Ooh.
been in the same class for 3 years. Love her husband, nice guy.
Mhm.
That woman can eat a bag of rotten tacos because I cannot. I'm like, "You know how
Mm.
hard it is. You go through this every day, and then you're
Yes.
gonna turn around and screw somebody else? No,
It's
no,
crazy.
no." All parking issues can make me go 0 to 60 on the anger scale. I mean, I get this rant so
Agreed.
hard.
Totally.
Those are the like, my husband always says, "You have road rage issues." Maybe I do, but most of the time, I would say at least 78% of the time, it's over parking.
Yes.
I've gotten out
And
of my car over parking.
we've been spoiled because there's been plenty of parking because
I know,
nobody
but
was
that's
really
I know.
going many places. But now,
Our
yesterday, I
traffic
really
is
felt it.
back. Yeah.
I mean, it was a weekend and it's LA. So, yep, there was bumper to bumper traffic
I
on
mean,
the 101 South.
even just going to pick up my son, where he
Yes.
goes to study, with Kira, just even that, the traffic is at least 20 minutes difference
Mm-hmm.
than it has been all year because everybody's getting back,
It's
which is good.
crazy.
That means it's hopeful, I guess, but I think we need to still be real careful, guys.
Okay.
We need a cleansing
We
breath, don't
do.
we?
Oh,
We
yes, we
like
do.
to get our rants out. We know there are bigger issues, which maybe we'll touch on a little bit here in a few minutes, but it's just nice to get some sense of normalcy and be allowed to complain a little bit, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
Even
right.
though we know there's bigger problems. We like to get those little things out, take a deep breath and fill up with some goodness.
Yes, rant it
Scream it
out
at
with us, and you don't have to do it with your
don't
significant
carry
other, friends,
yes,
family,
or
whatever.
carry it with you all day.
That's right.
Just be crazy with me and Jessica. Okay, let's take a deep breath in. Wait, what?
Deep
Breathe
breathing.
in. Ugh, my bit went too far. I'm actually changing. Let's take a deep breath in. And that always
Delightful.
does feel nice.
Mm-hmm.
I always say to myself when we do that, I'm going to do that a couple more times a day. And then I never do it again until we get back here in front of the
Mm-hmm.
mics. What a
Yep.
dum-dum.
You know what? Now, if I'm feeling like panicked, especially,
Yeah.
I've been putting my hand on my chest and sometimes
Oh.
even both hands and taking a breath in like that. And seriously, like it's not a lot of weight, but it's just enough to feel the weight of your hands. And I do it like right on my sternum, right? Like in the
Oh,
center of
nice.
the, what is that? The breastbone, your breastplate.
Breastplate.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
It really does help.
That's awesome.
Like 5 slow
Breaths.
deep
Yeah.
breaths, and it really can do wonders.
I've been doing too, well, I have my affirmation app that
Mhm,
that I've told you guys about that I still love. It's called I Am. And
mhm,
I am look forward to what it's gonna say. Like I
mhm.
really enjoy it. And it does make my brain take a break and calm.
Totally.
So I have that. I just am not a good meditator, but I've been doing okay. Now, Jessica, here's some territory before we get into corners that you and I
Mhm.
have not broached on a personal level.
Hmm,
Are you ready?
mhm.
You look bored. Your head is in your
I'm riveted, I'm, like, biting my nails. I'm like, "What?
No, it's not a
What
big deal.
territory?"
It's not a big deal. I just am very dramatic about it, and I cannot figure out why.
Okay.
Do you know what Clubhouse is?
I do, and grandma feels like it's gonna be like Snapchat, and I know I have a friend who's, like, begging me to get on it.
But you
2
can't.
friends.
You can't. You know that, right?
Yeah. Well,
Because
she
it's
sent me an invite to get on it, or
right, but it's not compatible with Android.
oh, well,
At least it
hilarious.
at least it wasn't. I don't know,
You
maybe
might be
they've
right.
changed
I
it.
trust me, I have not clicked
Or
her invitation.
I would have invited you a long time ago. I think I have 14 invites now, but that's the thing, like, you have to
Mhm,
be invited in, you have to be Mac, I think.
mhm.
But anyway, some of it's super crazy, like, did you hear about that? Actually, I saw either Upworthy or BuzzFeed or somebody did a profile on him yesterday. The guy that, has been stalking, pedophiles online, and you can go in a Clubhouse room and hear him talk to them and he's getting them arrested. And so some people have issues with it. I didn't watch the video, but it's out there if you
Ah,
want to see it.
I've seen enough with John Walsh or whoever was doing that where it's like, "Steven, how you doing?"
Oh, oh,
And
oh,
they
oh,
look all
not John
surprised. The
Walsh.
guy's like, "Wait, who was it?" The guy that, like,
Chris,
walks inside the
yes, it's To Catch a Predator.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Chris Wallace, is that it?
I
I
don't
think we're
know.
just saying news reporter names right now.
Tom Brokaw? I don't know.
Oh my God. Well,
Hilarious.
so what I do want to say though, Clubhouse, there's crazy stuff. Overheard LA, I told you
Mhm.
was in there. Oh, I
Yes,
texted
yes.
you and told you Tank's Good News was in there
Mhm.
and then in a room, which
Oh
I
my god.
we love his Instagram
Mhm.
stuff. But anyway, I was in a really great room, and here's where you and I have not talked about this, and we won't stick on it long, but called Ala. It was it's a Harvard professor's office hours,
Mhm.
and it's so polite and it's so like
Hmm.
everybody's like, and now I am done speaking. When everybody's done,
Mhm,
like, and
mhm.
it's very educational, but it's on being allies. But I stumbled into this room and it was so good. And it was talking about being an ally to people of color because we all know that we had
Mhm.
this horrible incident that happened at the end of last week
Oh my
in
god.
Alabama, the shooting. Um,
Georgia.
yeah, yes, Georgia, sorry. Um, it just is devastating, and I think the thing that bothered me the most is that we all knew it was coming for a year.
Mhm. Mhm.
They've known it's coming for even longer, but when things started
Totally.
being said about China virus and Kung flu, I felt it building. I saw
Yep.
it coming,
It's
and
totally inappropriate in
so
any scenario.
absolutely, and I knew it would lead to something like this, and then to pile on top of it, "Oh, no, 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 it wasn't racially motivated, it was a sex addiction." Okay, well,
Mhm.
then it's a fetish, a racial fetish, which is also equally, You
Exactly.
killed people. I don't care what it's about, to be
Thank you.
honest. Yeah.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
I struggled all day on the next day on whether or not I should post about it, because I don't like posting things if I'm not going to be proactive in some way.
I
And it's
know.
gotten to the point that I don't even know how to be proactive, right? So this room was talking about how to be an ally and
Hmm.
be safe
Mm-hmm.
and what to say. And some of the things that resonated with me, just real quick. One woman said, a lot of people are trying to say the way that they were saying all lives matter and how offensive that was to the
Mm-hmm.
specific cause. A lot of people are trying to now say, I don't see color, I'm colorblind. There is no color. And this one woman spoke about, she said, please don't erase my heritage. I am a color. I want
Mm-hmm.
you to see my color. I
Yes.
want to be respected and I
Mm-hmm.
want to be seen and I want to be heard and not hated. And that
Totally.
really resonated with me. And then another thing that resonated with me, because I do pass as a white person,
Mm-hmm.
is some of them said, don't bombard your friends of color and say, what can I do? What can I do? It's not their job to teach you. It
Mm-hmm.
is your job to go find out.
100%.
So I said in my post, go find resources. They're so available to us now with social
Yes.
media and everything. Go find what you can do. And then I posted a starter article from USA Today that was like, here's a few things that you can do on your own
Mm-hmm.
to try and help this. So anyway, that was great. I know we're in a hurry. I went on a tangent, but I just wanted us to address that a little bit. And if you are on Clubhouse, the Harvard office hours is a wonderful, wonderful
That's
room.
awesome. No,
Yeah.
that's a great suggestion.
Yeah. I also listened to a room that was like, what do men and women find hot in and outside the bedroom? So I really leveled it out. Um,
I
okay,
love
okay.
it.
I just want to make sure I said something about that. It's been heavy on my heart, like what I can do. So
No,
anyway,
that's
let's move on.
very important. And thank you for bringing that up.
Of course.
Okay, we are coming in with a what the what corner
What the what?
from
I love it.
Dana's favorite new, it's not new to the world, but it's new to us, UPI.
All
Remember?
right. Yes.
United Press International.
International.
The Taiwanese government is urging residents not to change their legal names to salmon to take advantage of a restaurant's free sushi promotion. Well, I bet Dana's the first in line to move to Taiwan.
No. I don't want sushi.
Like when I saw this, I was crying. I'm like, Dana is going to freak
I
out.
started to read it and I was like, what? And then I also went, bleh.
Like this is on par with like people getting the tattoos. We talked
Yes.
about that recently. The
Yes.
guy sitting in his damn bean dip.
Why would you legally okay, just read.
The Taiwan Ministry of the Interior said nearly 100 people have registered to change their names to salmon under the country's Name Act to take advantage of restaurant chain Sushiro's promotion, which promises free sushi for customers whose names include the Chinese characters used to spell the name of the fish.
No.
In any particular order, or is it like a word jumble? And as long as you have those characters in some way, shape, or form,
I mean, I would fight for it if I went that far and
it's
they were
like,
like, sorry, you don't qualify.
I mean, what is that called? An enneagram, an anagram?
Ana
I don't know.
no, isn't an
Anagram,
anagram the
I
first
guess.
letter of each? Isn't that the first letter of each
Or what's the thing where you reverse the letters?
onomatopoeia? No. We're dumb. Let's move on.
Oh my God,
People are screaming at us right now.
They are. We're like, it's a bloody blah.
You dummies.
The restaurant chain requires customers taking advantage of the promotion to provide official ID, inspiring some to change their names legally. No, you have a problem and you need to go to a therapist. The ministry urged residents not to change their names for the promotion, pointing out that the Name Act only allows a person to change their name 3 times, meaning some of those who change their names for the promotion could be stuck with the name for the rest of their lives.
No, can you imagine giving up your family name to be stuck with salmon just so you can get free
No.
sushi?
Also, is it the family name or is it the first name?
Oh, I thought it was
Either
the family
way,
name. Oh, I guess it doesn't
I don't
matter.
know.
Well, that could be a rule. Like, what if you change your first name and they're like, nope, don't qualify?
I want to know some examples, though. I wish they had cited other cases where people in Taiwan have already done the name change twice. And they're like, I don't know. But you
What did
know what? If
they?
I do it, it's free sushi for life.
But also, why did they change their name twice already? Like,
Thank you.
are there other? Is this a promotional thing that happens a lot? I can't think of anything I would change my name for to get for free.
I know.
Like,
It's
not even a
crazy.
car, right? No,
No,
I
not
don't
for
know.
anything. It's also like I remember when the Atlanta Braves won the national championship, and like the night that they won, I think there was like 3 people who named their children Tommy Hawk because the symbol of the Braves was a tomahawk, like they used to do the tomahawk
No,
chop. Yes.
no.
Uh-huh. That was on the news and it was like Tommy Hawk Smith. I'm like, absolutely
Uh-uh.
not. How dare you do that to that kid? They
That's
didn't
like
ask for this.
no, that's like the kid in my high school. His name was Rusty Fender. Come
Shh.
on.
No, ma'am.
Come on. That's
Rusty
mean.
Fender.
And his mom was a lunch lady in the cafeteria, and she was so sweet.
Oh,
But I remember every time I'd see her and say hi, I was like, "Why'd you do that to him?" I wanted to ask her.
I wish you had.
I
I
know,
wish
right?
I wish we knew someone with a contact with the Taiwanese name uh consulate.
Is that a thing? I
No.
just was waiting for you to finish. I just wanted to know what you were gonna say.
Excuse me. I was wondering if On Vogue is part of the American Consulate Embassy for name changes.
N-
We were En Vogue. We'd like to change it to On Vogue.
No, ma'am. I first of all don't believe you're in Vogue, and second of all, gonna regret it because nobody's gonna know who you are anymore.
Unbelievable. The artist formerly known as On
On
Vogue. En
Jessica,
Vogue. See, I did it again. Oh my
what
God.
is wrong with you, Auntie Jessica?
Now I sound like an old man.
I mean, we're just a couple of old biddies on here, I think, at this point. Don't park like that. Why would you change your name? I hate the music these kids listen today. Where's On Vogue? Remember when everything was good? Oh boy. All right, here's my corner. Are you ready?
All right.
This is
Yes.
wait, what kind of corner is this? I forgot. Oh, and it an excuse me corner. This is very funny. Woman left in stitches by neighbor's response after a sex noise complaint. This is from Jessica's favorite, The Mirror. This is written by Rosaline Fenton. One woman was left in stitches after receiving an incredible response and apology from her neighbors after she sent a note asking them to try and be quieter at night. Whether you smiled through the pain or wrote a strongly worded letter, we've all had to deal with the noisy neighbors at some point. Yes, we have.
Mhm.
As many of us have spent a lot more time at home since March last year, neighborly relationships have become more important. You may have become best buddies or hoped they'll move out after they once again started impromptu karaoke sesh on a Saturday night. In some cases, your neighbor might not be aware that you can hear everything they're doing. That's actually in the article.
Oh my God.
One woman was left in stitches after she received a brilliant response from her neighbor after she requested they tone it down. The woman shared the exchange on TikTok in a viral video that's been viewed more than 220,000 times.
Oh my God.
In it, she explained that she had been hearing noises from her neighbor's bedroom for the last 4 days before deciding to take action. Her note said, quote, "Hey, I would greatly appreciate it if you guys could separate Eon's bed from the wall. It's becoming an everyday thing and it's very hard for me to
Oh,
sleep with that noise. Thanks, your neighbor, XX."
no.
On a real cute card, like, oh no, hers was just on a paper, but the other, but there were hearts, like, you saw it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to bury this part too that I want to read. Okay, and just in case she hadn't made it clear, she clarified: noise equals moaning, hitting, and banging bed to the wall. Thanks, hee hee. I mean, it's a pretty cute letter. It's a pretty cute letter.
It's very nicely
Luckily, the
put.
recipient had a good sense of humor and happily took it in stride. They sent back a card with a $50 gift card for Starbucks, presumably to help the neighbor after a rough night's sleep. They
Oh,
wrote, they wrote, I apologize for the inconvenience and will do a better job of managing my volume. Thanks for your discretion. They cheekily added, to sleepy neighbor from loud neighbor. People were left in
amazing.
hysterics, and the video racked up more than 35,000 likes.
Oh
One
my
one
God.
person joked, "Not sleepy neighbor," and another added, "The good vibes from the card are sending me out there. I love you both. This is incredible." Anyway, that is super cute. What a nice neighborly exchange.
That
Because
is
when I've
nice.
heard my neighbors having relations before when I was apartment living, I was not nice about it. I
No,
hated it. But I also wouldn't say anything because it was
I
weird.
know. No, it's
Except
a
for the girl downstairs that wailed and I yelled that one time, "He's not that good."
like loud enough for them to hear, I
Yes, Dan
hope.
Tipton was mortified. We were in our bed and they were whooping and wailing down there, and I was like, "No way. I've seen that guy. He is not that good. No way."
In Alan's apartment, when he lived in the heart of Hollywood before he moved into where we are now, his next door neighbor, and I'm going to say easily 80% of his building were young folks attending the Musicians Institute on Hollywood Boulevard.
Oh,
It's
yes, yes,
that
yes.
big school.
Yes.
Well, this dude, loved heavy metal and he loved it loud.
Mm,
And I'm not kidding you. He would start playing. It wasn't even that he was practicing his instrument, which not that I would have been okay with that at 3 a.m,
no.
but he would blast his music sometimes, literally in the middle of the night. And I remember one night it scared the hell out of me. I was in a dead sleep, somehow was sleeping through that music, but Alan lost his shit and
Oh,
rightfully
no.
so. And again, it takes so much to rile him up.
Yeah.
And he got up so abruptly. And I don't know what he yelled, but when you're like, if you get woken up by an earthquake or a loud bang or something outside, you're like, what happened?
Yeah.
And you don't know what happened. You're like, so discombobulated. I thought it was like me snoring and he had finally reached his wits' end. I was like, oh my
Oh,
God.
no, I'm sorry.
It was him going out and I could hear him pounding on the door. That's
Oh,
how hard
no.
he
Oh,
was.
no.
So that was even more upsetting because it was so loud they couldn't ever hear. Because we tried hitting the wall and all
Yeah.
that. So it didn't do
Yeah.
anything.
Wow.
But man, I heard him unload on that guy when he finally answered. And
Oh,
boy, I was
no.
scared and turned on all at once.
Okay. Okay. Calm down. You know he listens to this show. I hope you don't mind him hearing that.
He'll love it.
Yeah. Thank you for that. That was very funny. I just like that it was a sweet exchange because I'm like, those are
Yes,
better people than me. I need to work on
100%.
myself.
A gift card at that. I
I
mean,
bet
that is
I
very
bet we
classy.
do you know how many Starbuckses we can have with
Yes.
$50? We can have
Yes.
treats.
Yes. I mean, that is very lovely. Ugh,
The
maybe
Gruyere egg bites at Starbucks, real delicious.
the best.
Yeah, yeah.
I
All
really do
right.
love those.
Should we move on into our raves?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
My rave is something that a friend of mine started that I've brought up a few of the rescues that she's worked with over our time of doing rants and raves, but this is her newest incarnation and I absolutely love it. And you guys haven't seen it, but I'm going to show Dana right now.
Mm,
It's called Love Thy Dog, and their website is
mhm.
lovethdog.com. And 100% of their proceeds, 100% of their proceeds are going to a variety of animal rescue organizations.
Oh, awesome.
So I love that.
Yeah.
And what it is custom totes and sweatshirts.
Right up my
And
alley.
you'll freak when you see
I know,
them.
I
And you
will, I
also have
will.
lots of cuties that would be real cute on one. They do the image of your dog, but I also saw somebody ask, I have a cat. They have cats too. You can
What?
get the names of your pets done on the bag, and they have like these little silhouette images. Also, I thought one was really cool. Like my friend had the DNA done for their dog who's a total mutt.
Uh-huh.
So they have them where it says like I am 51% Bernese Mountain Dog,
That
you
is so
know,
cute.
13% Labrador Retriever, blah blah blah. It tells their makeup. So cute. They're amazing. I have one with my initials because I'm not a pet owner currently.
Oh my
I
God.
had block letters JBY put on mine,
In
and
green.
hello.
Rage walk. Hashtag rage walk. Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God,
oh yeah, oh
Jessica.
yeah.
I love it.
Isn't it awesome? So I'm going to read you a little blurb about them, and you can go to the site, and then you can also email them and say, hey, I want that. They're great to work with. They'll customize whatever. They have the classic tote, the Who Am I tote. Oh, they also have one that just says love, which is also a fun little aside.
Yeah.
Okay. We are three moms who work passionately to save dogs every day from shelters, the street, and abusive homes. They deserve a better life, and we know every effort, big and small, helps. You name it, we do it. Simply said, the proceeds from Love Thy Dog will allow us and our partners to save more dogs. 100% of the proceeds from each product sold goes to saving dogs' lives. Rescues we love. If you're curious about where the proceeds go, these rescue organizations are on the list. They do amazing work, not only here in Los Angeles, but in other parts of the country as well. Please click through to learn more about them. And when she says that, one of these rescues that she works with, they did this huge thing where they were able to secure a ton of donations for people in Texas when everybody lost power,
Oh,
and to
wow.
ensure that the shelter dogs had blankets and all of
And
that kind of
warmth.
stuff.
I know, I know. Ugh. I just
It's
watched a
great.
dodo about a mama dog that went
Oh,
into labor right when they lost power. And it was a foster, and
uh,
the puppies wouldn't even dry. They ended up
right.
living in their car for a few days to make sure the puppies were okay.
Oh my God.
Oh,
All About Labs. That's one of the organizations. I'm just reading this. It's all on their site under the donate tab. All About
mhm.
Labs. Another one is I Stand with My Pack.
Cute.
Beluga's Foundation, which we have raved about in the past.
Mhm.
And then the last is called Wags and Walks.
Yes.
So they're
Which I
really
feel like,
fantastic.
have we
Go
talked
on.
about Wags and Walks? I
I
feel
don't
like we maybe I've
think
just
so.
personally talked about Wags and Walks
Yeah,
to somebody.
maybe. But again, I love that this is going, all of their proceeds are going to
I
charities.
love
That's
it too.
amazing. And not an easy feat to do because somebody's got to be buying these bags and paying for
Yes,
their machine. They're
totally.
hand doing them. I saw
Yes.
the machine at her house and I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. What is that? And she's like, oh, let me show you. So, anyways, if you want or are looking for a really fun gift for somebody and
Yes.
they have pets, or again, I just did my initials and a fun little rage walk hashtag, but it's a lovely gift and it's going to a great cause. So if
Yes.
you're ever looking for something personal, consider lovethydog.com.
Yeah, this buy a bag, save a dog. All right, it's my turn for my rave. Yes.
Yes.
My rave this week is called Move for Hunger. You can find them at moveforhunger.org. Move for Hunger is a national nonprofit organization that has created sustainable way to reduce food waste and fight hunger. We've mobilized the leaders of moving, relocation, and multifamily industries to provide their customers, clients, and residents with the opportunity to donate their food when they move. Members of Move for Hunger also organize community food drives, participate in awareness campaigns, and create employee engagement programs. Food drives become socially distant. In person events were canceled. And through it all, it was our most impactful year to date. I love that.
Awesome.
Our network delivered more than 5 million pounds, over 4 million meals to food banks across the US and Canada. To put that into perspective, those numbers represent a 39% increase over 2019, which was also a record year. 39%. That's huge.
That is huge.
25% of the overall total we've delivered over the past 11 years. That's a quarter of
Wow.
everything they've done over the last 11 years, just last year.
It's one of the biggest things that they said was an influx in people showing up at food banks who've never had to go in their life. They've
Yes.
luckily never been in that position, and it
Yes.
it became a huge, huge thing.
Yes. While our impact grew, so did the need. It's estimated that the number of food insecure people in America increased by nearly 50%,
Whoa.
from 37 million in 2019 to over 50 million, including 1 in 4 kids. 60% of those visiting food banks visited for the first time.
Mhm.
60% new people.
That's staggering.
Simply put, people and food banks in this country are struggling, and they continue to need our support. We are more committed than ever to help fight hunger and food waste. Our incredible team will continue to work hard every day, and we want to thank our amazing network for their unwavering support. So, again, that is moveforhunger.org. You can check them out. Um, I noticed too, Jessica, just like in daily
Mhm.
life, I've seen a lot more activity at these food banks. It's a real
Yes.
necessity. If you can contribute, please do. We've always, I mean, you guys, over 50 million people. Listen, I'm
It's
not rich by any means, but I have
that's
my needs
larger than the
provided.
country of Sweden.
I will have to trust you on that.
I recently looked up their population for something. That's the only reason I know that. Please go on.
This particular organization, they provide meals to families, kids, seniors,
Mhm.
and vulnerable communities who are facing hunger. Well, that's everybody right now.
Yep,
I mean, practically, you know what I mean?
totally.
And some people who are just having their needs met also they don't have the ability to be able to donate to others. So, those of us who do have the ability, it doesn't mean you have to spend $500,
No.
right? I mean, I have literally seen personal people and
Mhm.
groups set up tables and say, hey, at 11 o'clock every morning, there will be bag
Yep.
lunches here. If you need it,
Yes.
come and get it. No questions asked.
Correct.
I think it's beautiful. I think it's
It's been
amazing.
happening a lot in LA, which has been lovely to
Very
see.
much. And I just want to remind,
Schools that aren't
yes,
open, but parents are showing up to make sure the kids and or their families are fed.
absolutely, because some of these children in the LA Unified
Yep.
School District, that school meal is their only meal,
Uh-huh.
and it's so important. I love it when I see people coming together to help others.
Yes.
And, I've visited a few food banks in my time,
Mhm.
and I'm always looking for new ones close by, far
Mhm.
away. But I want to remind people, and maybe Jessica, you can help me too. There are often things that we can help provide that most people don't think about. So we always think canned goods, right? But think
Right.
about things like Infamil,
Diapers.
diapers, milk, the
Mhm.
things that are perishable, people still need. So,
Yes.
like the last time we covered a food bank, one of the things I believe we read about it is they said we need milk, we need meat, we
Mhm.
need these kinds of things, not just
Yep.
canned corn, right?
Totally.
These people need a healthy, balanced meal,
Yes.
and most of
They
them are
can't
not.
just eat pasta.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying like don't be cheap and just empty out your cupboards. Like we're all doing what we can.
Right.
But if you do have the means to be able to provide in that
Mhm.
way, these organizations you can donate to, and they do their own shopping, or you
Mhm.
can donate stuff from your home to them. You don't forget the milk, all those things. I'm just
Yep.
going in circles now, but it really is something close to my heart because
Yeah.
my parents grew up not having enough food. My
Mhm.
parents were not nourished properly because
Mhm.
of not having the ability to, not
Right.
having the money. I've heard stories from both of my parents that are
Mhm.
tragic to me about, there was only rice and a tomato in the cupboard,
Yep.
or we only ate at school, or we didn't even eat at school because we came home and did work to help the family. So these things still happen, you guys. We haven't
Exactly.
grown as
It's gotten
humans.
worse even
Yes,
maybe now.
clearly reading these numbers from this
Mhm.
wonderful organization this year, it has
Yep.
gotten worse than
Yep.
we've ever seen. So just keep that in mind. I know we can't all do everything. Maybe you can only volunteer your time. Just as valuable. Just as
100%.
valuable. So
And Oh, I'm sorry.
No, please go ahead.
There's two things I want to piggyback on this. As far as what this organization is doing too, taking people's food, like when you're moving, nobody wants to move with food. Okay.
No,
Especially if you're
no.
moving out of state. So when my
Because you know
neighbor
what ends
moved,
up happening? You move with it, and then 5 years down the road, you're like, why is this in the back of my pantry?
yes, yes.
Yes.
When my neighbor moved, we went through everything, and I'm like, girl, this expired 3 years ago. It would be a
Mhm.
brand new, unopened, whatever. But I'm like, bye bye. And we had
Yes.
the trash pile, but she had a ton of stuff that was perfectly good, was not expiring. She goes, I'm not moving with any food. I'm like, good, you shouldn't.
Hmm.
And I said, let's bag it up and I'm going to take it because we have a food bank run by the church literally at the end of our street.
Yeah.
I'm like, please let me drop it off to them for you. And she was like, okay, great. So we brought, I, I think we filled 4 full brown, like double bagged grocery bags. That was a lot of food and it was
Yes.
great stuff.
Yes.
So it's so
And
important to
so
do
many
that.
people are moving right now.
Yes,
Which I
all
know
over.
sounds crazy, but people are leaving big cities. It's really expensive. It's
Yep,
dangerous in the
totally.
current climate. So a lot of people are moving. It's really cool that they help it in all ways, I think, but
Yes.
like that's one of their big things is if you're
Hmm.
moving, anyway, I think what they're doing is wonderful. Thank you
It's
to
great.
anyone who is donating their time, they're donating supplies of any kind, food.
Mhm.
Don't forget, we've got hygiene to think about. We've got
Yep.
socks, all these things that we've mentioned in the past. Don't let those things go out of your mind. It's Lucy, enough. Ugh, the mail came, guys. Thank you
And
for protecting your home, baby. I always tell her. I
she's
always tell her,
so
thank you.
scary.
I know.
Also, we have a lot of listeners in Canada, and this organization works within the US and Canada, which
Oh,
is an awesome
amazing.
side note. Yes, because usually things are different, obviously. Lots
Yes.
of different jurisdictions between borders, but this is a organization that works within North America. Well, no, if it was all of North America, wouldn't that include Central America?
Don't ask me map
I
questions.
know, me neither. Oh boy, one of our teachers, help us out
Oh
here.
boy.
Is Mexico? I think Mexico is considered. I
I have
think
no
all of
answers
Central
to your
America is.
question.
Wow. We know
I
who
mean,
not to have on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? And the
oh,
answer's me.
and me. Are you kidding me? I accidentally said North and South Dakota the other day when I was trying to say North and South Carolina. And Dan Tipton was like, do you mean Carolinas? And I was like, yes. Did I say Dakotas? I'm sorry. And he goes, yeah, but you said in the South. And I was like, am I going to have to correct my full grown wife?
Oh my
I
God.
was like, yeah, you might have to. I did say that on accident. But yes, there may come a time.
They make some great biscuits in Charleston, South Dakota.
Do they?
That's ridiculous.
Anyway, this wonderful organization, I looked at they basically just have kind of like right away when you go to their website it
Hmm.
says donate, but then you can pull down the menu and find out about them, find a mover, take action,
Hmm.
join a network. They have all the information there for you. They have all the numbers there. They have a rolling ticker like the old school days when you go
Hmm.
to a
I
website,
love that.
but it's for things that they've collected and delivered. And the numbers there are just insane. We shared
It's
some of them with
awesome.
you. So, anyway, give them a look. Moveforhunger.org. If you can help out in any way, please do.
Hmm.
Yay. Jessica,
Fantastic. Dana,
I think that's our show.
I think it is.
Oh, my goodness. Well, before we go, I think I didn't have you tell people how to get a hold of us. And
Oh, I forgot. You're right.
we need people to get a hold of us and give us your rants. We're all starting to get back to life now. I know they're out there.
Oh yeah. Don't be shy.
Don't be shy.
Do not be shy. Please send them in. You can DM us and find us and follow us and
What?
like us at the Rants and Raves podcast. Yes, it's case sensitive, just like the way you found this podcast you're listening to. It's the Rants and Raves podcast, all written in one word. I don't know why I said podcast like it was two separate words. I
It's
sound like our
because you're a
governor,
fancy
Gavin
talker.
Newsom.
You're a fancy talker.
Oh my God, I really am. You can
You're
find us at the Rants and Robs podcast on Instagram and Facebook. on Twitter at raves_the. You can send us an email at the ransomedravespodcast@gmail.com or hit the contact button on our website, www.theransomedravespodcast.com.
Yay! Please send us stuff, guys, even if you just want to say hi, which
Exactly. Oh,
brings
God.
me what?
Go. Say
Which
it.
brings me to my next point. We've got some thank yous to give out.
Uh-huh.
I just want you guys to know Jessica and I literally never expect anything from you guys.
Uh-uh.
So when someone sends us anything, I mean a card, a
Yep.
sticker, we are over the moon. I usually cry because I
Absolutely.
cannot
Yes.
believe that people who do not like, I'm just going to get real private and give
Mhm.
all of our listeners a compliment here. I said to my therapist last week, I said, our listeners are so kind and
Mhm.
affectionate and loving and check in on us and
Mhm.
send us gifts for no reason
Yep.
that it makes me cry. And I don't know how to thank you guys enough. This is also not me saying, hey, everybody, send us presents. It's not expected, but we feel that way about everyone. And
Yeah.
it's equally as much when you write into us. So if you're nervous to write in, don't be, because we
Exactly.
want you to. We want to hear
Absolutely.
from you, whatever it is. We don't care. So please hit us up if you can. I'll let you talk because I talk all the time. We got some doll. Tell them.
So one of our OG listeners had made these adorable magnets, and I don't remember if we mentioned it on the podcast or not, but Dana and I both are in contact with her, and we had noticed it, and I'm like, "What is that? That's so freaking cute!" And she
Yeah.
goes, I think she's making it with her son, I believe. She started making them during the pandemic, and as a way to send out to friends and family
They're
with a
so
note.
cute.
You guys, you're going to literally lose your mind. It's
Yeah.
another reason why you should follow us on social media, because clear, and I think even in her note, she said, I think you can tell who's who. Dana's has red hair and
Uh-huh.
says, no,
No,
ma'am,
ma'am. No, ma'am.
across the shirt. And mine says Rage Walk.
It's
Okay.
so cute. And then on
She
top
made a
of it,
little Henry.
she made a little Henry. I lost my mind.
It's so cute.
I mean, we love her anyway. She could have sent
Yes.
me a pack of Post-its and I would have been like, "Oh my God, that's so
Yes.
kind." But the fact that that's what I said to my therapist. I was like, I feel like these people are my friends and they know
Yes.
me and
Yes.
I love her tattoo and I
Yeah.
stalked her on Instagram so I could see it. Like I feel like
love it.
I feel like I know you guys and you
Yes.
you are our friends.
Yes.
So
It's
please don't.
so thoughtful.
I literally cried. It's
Mhm.
just so amazing. And we've received other things that were just so touching and personal. And
Yep.
our listeners are the best. Like I always say, listen, Jessica and I are not household names. We're not Zach Shepard. Is that his name? What's wrong
I
with
don't
me?
know.
We're not some
We're two
huge.
paupers trying to scrape two nickels together. Isn't that what they used to say?
I
This is a
don't
free
know.
podcast.
I don't
This is
know.
a free podcast, at least as of this moment.
It is.
2
Yes.
years in.
2 years in, yes. And, we put a lot of work into it. Jessica's been editing you guys. She's doing an amazing job.
Oh,
You are. It's incredible. You're doing
thanks.
great. So anyway, it is a lot of work and it does cost us money.
Mhm.
There are services that we have to pay for to continue making this show, but we just love it so much,
Indeed.
which is why we've kept it free. At some point, if I can get my act together, maybe we'll add in some advertising, which maybe will be annoying. I don't know. Anyway, all I want to say is we love you guys so much. And
Mhm.
we are always so touched to hear from you, even if it's an email. So please
Yes.
just reach out anytime. I mean, Jessica, also to shout you out, Jessica brought me by a sweet, sweet gift and left it. We talked about last week. But so on my windowsill, I have my plant lady sticker that you got
Aw.
for me. And right beneath it is our Blooming with Beck. My
Yes.
Blooming with Beck sticker, and it says, get your shirt to go.
Love it.
I love it. And every time I walk in my kitchen, I see them and they make me happy.
Aw.
Yeah, it's lovely. So
It is
anyway,
lovely.
thank you to everyone. We love you so much. I hope it doesn't sound disingenuous because I mean it from the bottom of my
Oh
heart.
my God, yes.
I really, really do. Like the love that we feel from you guys is it's palpable and
Yes.
it's meaningful and it's touching. And I hope you know how important you guys are to us. And I hope that we bring you a little laughter.
Exactly. Because you guys sure bring us some laughter
Oh,
and
good
some real
Lord.
poignancy. We've also had some really heartwarming things.
Absolutely. Oh my God. It's just, I can't even list all of the things. I just feel like the luckiest girl in the world.
Indeed.
So at the end of the show, I usually like to have a weekly point to ponder, something for you to think
Mhm.
about, which I do have. I also like to share things that I've been watching or seen or whatever. So I have some of you that guys, we swap our murder story programs. So I found a new one, I think, on what's it called? Spotify. Um it's called The Clearing. And it's about, let me see if I can read you. When April Belasco was 40 years old, something she had feared for decades was finally proven true. Her father, Edward Wayne Edwards, really was a murderer. Okay. It's a
Mm.
it's a limited series. I'm on episode 6, and I think there's 8 episodes. The Clearing, it's called, is a podcast, limited podcast by Gimlet. It's really good. It's interesting if you're into that weirdo stuff like I am. And then I don't think have you watched anything? You watched some movies this weekend.
I'm
Uh-oh.
just gonna I watched 3, but I'm just gonna tell you about one because it's just
Okay.
too much. I cannot recommend it enough. This is a must see for anyone if you have the ability. I don't know how things go now that there's a billion streaming networks. If like
Right.
I don't have this, but maybe one day it'll end up on Netflix or Hulu. I don't know. It's through Amazon, I believe. I don't use
Okay.
Amazon. I have big issues with it. We're not even going to go there. But my husband has Amazon.
Okay.
So we watched The Sound of Metal.
Oh,
I need you all to see that movie. Not The Sound, it's Sound of Metal.
okay.
I'm not giving anything away. It is about a drummer in a heavy metal band who starts to lose his hearing.
Oh
And I'm just going to leave
my.
it at that.
Okay.
It is so powerful. I cried.
Mhm.
The actors in it are phenomenal. They used a lot of deaf talent, which is huge and very important. A dear friend of
Wow.
mine who is also a listener and supporter of the show. We love her. My friend Jody is an ASL interpreter.
Oh,
And
awesome.
one of the coolest things ever when we were performing live, she and I are on an improv team together. She had our guest for like, we'd always have like a special guest day, and it was our guest
Mhm.
where they are the driver of our cab. It's called Big Yellow Taxi. And she had this guy on. Now I'm mortified that I don't remember his name. He is so talented, so incredibly funny. He was our driver, and Jody, instead of playing with the team, was on stage all the time, but interpreting. And
Oh, cool.
more than half of our audience that night were people from the deaf community. Phenomenal.
That's
It's
so
fascinating.
cool.
It'll really help you see things in a different way.
Mhm.
And it's such an important film for so many reasons, but it's really again showing people who have any kind of disability, they don't see it like that, and they
Mhm.
don't let that take over them
Yes.
or be a reason they can't do things. That's why I always, whenever I see somebody in a wheelchair doing a Paralympic sport or something, I'm like, if
Yeah,
I ever dare complain that my back hurts because I slept wrong again,
I know.
it's outstanding. Please see it. It is unreal. It's Riz Ahmed, which you may recognize
Okay.
for other things. He's a phenomenal actor. He's British, but as they all are, can do an American accent
So
flawlessly.
well. I know
Never knew he was
so well.
British till
Oh
he
my
was
god.
interviewed.
I just turned down an audition a couple of weeks ago because I was like it was supposed to be with an Irish accent and I said
Mm-hmm.
total transparency to my representation. I was like, I am known amongst my comedy friends as being horrible at any accent that is not hick related. So I should pass on this. And they were like, no problem.
I know. I
I
feel the
don't know
same
how
way.
they
It's
do
so
it.
funny.
They're so good at it. That's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, what's it called again?
Sound of Metal.
Sound of Metal. You know what?
Please, I'm begging you. If
I
you're listening to
will.
this, I'm begging you. And Dana, you will love it. It's
Yeah.
phenomenal.
I love documentaries anyway. My friend Kate was like, "God, you love documentaries." I was like, I really do. Believe it or not, I did watch 2 sort of shortish documentaries last night.
Mm.
Nowhere near as meaningful as yours.
Mine's not a documentary.
What is it? A
A
movie?
movie starring
Okay.
Riz Ahmed.
Okay. Well, these are one of them is a movie, but it's a documentary movie. It's
Mhm.
not. It's not. Oh my.
Fiction.
Yes. I almost said make 'em ups. What's wrong with me?
It's
Anyway,
perfect.
it's on Stars. One of them I watched is Stripped, Los Angeles, and it follows these 5 strippers and what their side hustles are, how they got into it. It makes them real people. It was very interesting. Some of their stories are a little sad. Some of them are really like they're making something of that. Like one girl
Sure.
started her own pole dancing classes and
Mhm.
she's doing very well. Anyway, it was interesting. And then also, I don't know what this says about before I say what the second one is, let me say they recommend things to you after you watch things. It's not like I'm
Yes.
seeking out
You wouldn't have
this.
even know it existed. I
No.
love that. I love that feature, actually. Sometimes I'm
Yes.
like, no, I'm not interested. Or I'm like, what the hell is this?
So back to back, I watched Stripped Los Angeles and then I watched The Pickup Game, which I don't know if you guys remember. Remember the game, the book that looked like a Bible, and it was the pickup
Oh,
artists.
yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
that whole community became outed in a way. So
Yep.
that it's talking about it now, what it is kind of left of it. And it is interesting to see there's some heavy misogyny in there that is damaging
Mhm.
emotionally. And anyway, it's very interesting. The Pickup Game, it's on Stars. So that's weird that we both. No, you didn't watch a documentary.
No.
I don't know how many times you have to tell
I
me.
don't know. And Riz Ahmed, I need you to look up because he's nominated for an Oscar, and you seem to think he's a character in the non-documentary that I watched.
Wait,
And
how do you spell it?
Riz,
Uh-huh.
last name Ahmed.
Oh
What does it
yes.
say about me that when you said you watched a documentary called Stripped, I lit up inside and thought, oh, is it about furniture refinishing?
No, but that wouldn't be surprising. I would watch a documentary about furniture stripping.
So would I.
Oh man. All
It's
right.
great.
Well, Jessica, I enjoy you very much.
I enjoy you very much. Thank
We
you
will be back
for
on Tuesday. Let's all try to be mindful this week of our friends and people we see out in public. If
yes,
they're being harassed, let's stay safe, but it's time to speak up.
absolutely.
It has been.
Mhm.
Please be safe, everybody. Still, I know we're all getting vaccines, but we still want to make sure we get this under control. And
Mhm.
with that, I will move into my point that I want you to think about this week. Are you
Dana and I
ready?
both got vaccines. Dana and I both got vaccines.
We,
Newsflash, newsflash, red alert, Herald. Do, 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 do.
I couldn't be more grateful. I really couldn't.
Yes.
Um, and now I'm hoping that soon my husband and my child will be eligible as well. But
Yes.
very grateful to get that started in our family.
Mhm.
Um, Scientists who work with cockroaches often become allergic to pre ground coffee.
What?
Yes, you guys, it's true. I'm telling you. According to entomologist Douglas Emlin, cockroaches that infest large piles of coffee beans, you guys, are often just ground up instead of removed, since it would be too difficult to eliminate them completely. Now we all know this happens. What was that documentary and book that talked about the number of rats that can be in peanut butter? I don't know. In the US, the Food and Drug Administration allows a certain amount of insect filth to be included in coffee and other
What?
foods as long as it doesn't exceed a pre-established percentage. Since it's actually pretty common for researchers to develop acute allergies to specimens they study, entomologists who become allergic to cockroaches do indeed also become allergic to things like pre-ground coffee and chocolate, you guys.
No, 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 no.
Sorry, I ruined your snacks and your morning coffee. It's got some cockroaches.
Oh my God.
Hope you don't get allergic. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye. Or goodbye.
Goodbye. Love you, Jessica.
Love you too, Donna. Bye.
Bye.